Welcome to my channel, Gadgets for Gentlemen. In this video I'm going to give you a look at the Orient Soma and I will tell you the reasons why I am about to sell this watch. First, let's throw in a wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing another Orient watch. This is an Orient Star Classic and I wear it on a Hirsch leather bracelet. And this is also somewhat similar to the watch that I'm going to tell you about. So here we have the Orient Soma. This is a very small dress watch, measuring only about 38 millimeters, I believe. I made an in-depth video on this watch, and here in the top of the screen you can click and go to that video. What we have here is a dress watch by the company Orient. Orient is a Japanese watch company, and the watch came with this box. This is the model number. Pretty decent box overall, much better than the box I usually get with a Seiko watch. And the reason why I bought this watch is I saw a good deal on a website, Creation Watches. What attracted me to this watch, when I bring it really close to the camera, you can see that pattern on the dial. I think the term for that is guilloché. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that pattern is really marvelous. So we're dealing here with an entry-level watch, and for that type of money, I think the execution on this dial is done very well. What I can say is that pattern is marvelous. I'm not too fond of the font used for these Roman numerals. I do think they don't look as sharp as they could have been. A second thing that really attracted me to this watch is those blue hour hand, minute hand, and second hand that you can see here flowing across the beautiful white dial. I think that is really pretty, and I like the traditional look of these hands. You can see when I rotate this watch a bit, you can see that those hands, they look different in different from different angles. Currently I think this looks almost like black, and here from the front it changes different shades of blue. I think it's very pretty. Another reason I bought this watch is because I think the dimensions of this watch are just very nice, very small. And what I like to do here is present you some of my findings, and maybe you disagree with me on these points, but I just want to make sure that you see all the points that I mention here and take those into your consideration if you're interested in buying this watch. I just want to make sure that you thought about these points to make a conscious purchase. So I have it on the original leather bracelet that we see here. The bracelet looks like a faux crocodile, but I believe this is just regular calfskin leather. And we have a signed buckle. That's very pretty. I do think this bracelet is not very comfortable, and in my opinion, I don't like the shininess. If you can see this, it's very shiny, and I really dislike that. We have a screw down stainless steel caseback with a water resistance of 50 meters, and here we find very lightly engraved the Orient logo. It's quite pretty. Unfortunately here, at the 3 o'clock position, the crown is unsigned. The crystal, I believe it's just a mineral crystal. It's slightly, very slightly domed. It's not completely flat. It has a little curve to it. And yeah, I think the watch is very pretty. It features an in-house movement by Orient. It's fully automatic. So you only have to throw it on a watch winder or throw it on your wrist, and it will start running. Now let's go over some of the downsides of this watch. First of all, I believe the leather strap is not very high quality, and I think the width of this strap is actually too narrow when I'm talking about this particular case. I think a slightly wider bracelet would have looked better. I believe this is 17 millimeters. I think with 18 or 20 millimeters, that would have been a much better fit for this particular case. Also, I do think the case could have even been a bit smaller. And I know the case is already quite small. And then my biggest point is the thickness of this case. I believe this thickness of this case is just way too thick for a dress watch. And that makes it look very chunky and big, and in my opinion, unnecessary. Like, I would have been so happy if they were able to reduce the thickness of the case, if they went with only hand winding functionality. That way, you know, they could have reduced the overall size of the movement and reduced the size of the case. I do think for a dress watch, this case is quite thick and not as sophisticated or pleasing to look at all. I mean, it's not bad, but for such a simple watch, I think it would have been so much better if it was much thinner. What else? Other than that, I think it's a pretty watch. Too bad no hand wind and also no hacking. So when I pull out the crown to the neutral position, we can see the second hand is still running. So yeah, very entry level movement, but I believe very reliable. And yeah, I haven't worn this watch that often because I think from the get-go I've just been a little bit disappointed. I mean, what can I expect? It's a very entry-level watch, and I think it will please a lot of men and women because I think it's a unisex watch. But for me, it does not take all my boxes. So if I were me, I wouldn't have bought this watch because yeah, it's not living up to the standards or expectations that I have when it comes to a dress watch. I want it to be thin. I want it to be small. I want a nice bracelet, and yeah, hacking and hand winding would be preferable. I do think the dial again is very pretty, although the black Roman numerals could have been a bit sharper. I do think those hands are really beautiful. I think the date wheel at the 6 o'clock position is done very well. So overall, I would say a great watch. I am going to sell this watch, so I'm gonna upload it, and I hope I can get some of my money back. I can highly recommend this watch as an entry-level automatic dress watch. But if you have a slightly bigger budget and you agree with my points about the thickness, lack of options with the movement, maybe the execution of these Roman numerals, then you're maybe better off to save your money and spend a bit more on a higher execution watch, such as the Orient Star, featuring both hand wind and hacking. I think the case is even thinner. Yeah. Oof. And I think the proportions are much better with this, I think 20 millimeter bracelet with that domed, and I also think a curved dial. I do think this watch just packs in more quality per buck, more bang per buck than its little brother or its little sister. So yeah, overall, I think wonderful watch. Again, you know, what really strikes me is that dial. If I'm gonna sell this watch, I'll definitely gonna miss that dial. I mean, I've been looking at watches such as the Tissot Le Locle, Frédéric Constant classics, which are much more expensive than this watch. Yeah, but for such an entry-level watch, also that Orient logo, I think it's just very well done. I mean, so yeah, please let me know if you agree with me on this, on these points, or if you disagree. And if this video was useful for you, maybe you're about to buy this watch or move on and look for other brands, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and see you soon. Take care.